Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. We're going to take our seats and get going. Oh, that was very effective. Okay. Welcome. My name is Stephanie Wells. I'm the Executive Director for the Canadian Children's Book Centre, and thank you all for being here. For many years, I sat in the audience at the CCBC Book Awards, and it is a real pleasure to be on this side of the microphone tonight. We have an exciting night lined up for you, and I am thrilled to be here in the Toronto Reference Library, a place where I spent many, many hours as a student. Happy hours, like that's good. So it's really fitting that we are here surrounded by books, celebrating books. Tonight we honor outstanding Canadian books for kids and teens and the power of stories, poems, and art. The power to bring the world closer, to open our eyes to new and different experiences, to learn about our shared histories, to explore the beauty of the natural world, and to visit fantastical and magical lands. These shortlisted titles have something for everyone as they invite us to laugh, to mourn, to forgive, to be brave, to be whimsical, and to do what all outstanding books for young people do, to step into that complicated, wonderful thing that is childhood. Congratulations to all our nominees. We are so proud to celebrate your work. As writers, illustrators, translators, publishers, promoters, and supporters of children's and YA literature, we are entrusted with young minds and hearts, and this is no small thing. It is a real privilege to be part of this. So once again, welcome. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce our host for the evening, Ainara, Alleyne. No, we talked about my mispronunciations. At the ripe old age of 15, Ainara is a high school student from Hamilton, Ontario, and an advocate for diverse voices in literature. She curates the popular Instagram page at Ainara's Bookshelf, where she reviews books by authors from underrepresented communities. She also shares her love of reading through her TV show, Ainara's Bookshelf, that airs on TVO Kids and YouTube, and through Ainara's Book Club, which is a companion website for the TV show. Ainara is also Hamilton Public Library's first junior librarian in residence, and a regular contributor to CBC Kids News, where she interviews authors and public figures. So all the finalists in the audience, make sure you hit up Ainara before you leave. And her work has been featured in the New York Times, CBC The National, and CTV. I don't know what you guys were doing at 15, but I wasn't doing this. So welcome, Ainara. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for that introduction. I am so honored to be here tonight with all of you. So many familiar faces and great works. I'm a fan of all of yours, so thank you so much for having me. And welcome to the 2024 CCBC Book Awards. I'm excited. I am so excited that there are so many people here that want to celebrate all the amazing stories that we've read this past year, and we really appreciate you coming out. It really does mean a lot. And we can't forget to say hello to everyone tuning in through our live stream. We have a great night ahead of us. Our words and stories have been shared on this land for thousands of years. The Canadian Children's Book Centre is honored for the opportunity to come together here to connect with one another and with stories. We are here on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Wendat peoples. This land is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and is covered by Treaty 13 and the Mississaugas of the Credit, a treaty to share and protect this land through friendship and respect. We thank those who have cared for this land, and we are grateful for the opportunity to participate in that care and to create and share our own stories. So we would like to thank our supporters for the CCBC Book Awards: Alice Chase, Rocky Mountain Book Award, Shelley Stagg Peterson, Ellie Barlin Daniels, A. Charles Baillie, and TD Bank Group. We also appreciate the numerous individuals who have donated funds to the awards. And we also wish to acknowledge that this evening's celebration is made possible thanks to the support of our event sponsors: Power Corporation of Canada, the Jackman Foundation, Tin Lids, Brainspace Magazine, and Hugo Juice. I want to hear all your thoughts and see all your pictures from tonight's show, so get your phones ready, hit up your favorite social media platform, and make sure that you use the hashtag CCBC Book Awards and tag at Kids Book Center and me at Ainara's Bookshelf so we can share this wonderful night together. I can't wait to see your posts. Now we will hear from Anne Remmel, CCBC Board Vice President. So join me in welcoming her.
Thank you. I assure you, I cannot speak as fast as she does, but I'm going to try. So, good evening, and on behalf of the board, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 2024 CCB Book Awards. Board President Orva Thunberg is out of the country, but extends her warm congratulations to the finalists. We are here to celebrate and to recognize all our nominated authors and illustrators, and especially the prize winners. First, I would like to thank Stephanie Wells, our Executive Director. Her dedication, vision, and hard work are evident in every aspect of CCBC. And I extend congratulations to team members, Megan Howe, Carol Ann Hoyt, and Spencer Miller. They deserve special recognition not only for their consistent day-to-day contribution, but also for creating this wonderful event. I think one more cheer for the event. So on behalf of the CCBC Board of Directors, I'd like to express our special gratitude to our award supporters: TD Bank Group, A. Charles Baillie, the Ellie Barlin Daniels, Alice Chase, Shelley Stagg Peterson, and the Rocky Mountain Book Award, and all the others that you've already heard about. But one more time for all the award suppliers. It is your support that ensures that we can celebrate the best in Canadian children's literature. I'd also like to acknowledge the support of arts funding at all levels of government. The CCBC is fortunate to receive funding at the federal level through the Department of Canadian Heritage and the Canada Council for the Arts, and at the provincial level through the Ontario Arts Council. I would also like to extend a special welcome to Sue Carter from the Ontario Arts Council, who is here with us this evening. I don't think I saw you, Sue. Shout out to Sue. And of course, a huge congratulations to all the nominees. I know I spoke with some of you, but not all of you. I have recently joined the ranks of creators and now know the challenges and the hard work of putting words to paper, of painting a word picture that communicates, that touches hearts and minds. Creators, now more than ever, your stories need to reach young readers. Those stories that only you can tell. Your words can create comfort, can bring laughter, and inspire. There are thousands of young readers waiting for your books. CCBC is here to encourage you and to recognize your contribution. Thank you all for your support of the Canadian Children's Book Centre as it continues to raise the profile and awareness of Canadian youth literature across the nation and beyond the borders, as it has for almost 50 years. That's formidable. Best of luck to all the nominees, and I hope you enjoy this special evening of celebration and inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, okay, yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, there we go. I'm gonna remember to slow down a little bit. I tend to speed up when I get nervous. Okay, so I know that I got my dad to buy me some raffle tickets, but for those of us who might not be lucky enough to win tonight's prize of the entire collection of shortlisted books, make sure to visit your local indie bookstore. In case you need help locating the ones nearest to you, the CCBC has partnered for the first time with indiebookstores.ca and the Canadian Independent Booksellers Association to feature all of these outstanding titles, so make sure to check it out. This is the first year the Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award will be presented as part of our awards program. The prize was established in 2022 by the board of the Rocky Mountain Book Award in recognition of Richard's contributions to Canadian children's literature and his compassion, patience, and love for all who he encountered. Ruth McMahon is a member of the Chase Award jury. We now invite Ruth to introduce the award and announce its winner.
Good evening, lovers of Canadian children's literature. It is my honor to represent Alice Chase, Michelle Dimnick, and Aaron Fitchett in presenting the Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award, with generous thanks to the Canadian Children's Book Centre for making this possible. The nominees for this award celebrate all that Richard fought for and believed in: compassion, hope, resilience, perseverance, inclusion, creativity, and curiosity. These titles also foster, as did Richard, the power of relationship that develops between reader and book. At the time of Richard's passing, Alice chose a Khalil Gibran quote to reflect Richard's rich life and what maybe lay ahead for him. "Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then shall you begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance." Let us celebrate these books that inspire our youth to reach beyond, to sing, to climb, to dance.
Introducing the Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award. Richard grew up on his family's farm near Writing-on-Stone Provincial Park in southern Alberta. After attending elementary and high school in the Milk River area, he attended the University of Lethbridge, graduating with a B.Ed in Library Science and receiving the William Aberhart Gold Medal in Education. Richard began his teaching career in 1969 in Lethbridge, Alberta, at Lakeview Elementary School, guiding countless students and staff with his expansive knowledge of books and technology.
Richard Allen Chase lived his life in service of others. We were all better human beings when viewed through Richard's eyes. We learned to ask ourselves, what would Richard do? He elevated the human condition primarily through his love of nature and his undying passion for planting the love of reading in the hearts and minds of children and young adults. It is through the Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award we aim to continue his legacy of sharing exemplary Canadian children's literature with young Canadians. The unassuming Richard Chase accomplished this through his work as a teacher librarian, who has a library named after him, a founding member of the Lethbridge Children's Literature Roundtable and the Rocky Mountain Book Award, as author tour host extraordinaire, not only for these two organizations, but also for the Canadian Children's Book Centre, British Council, and the Canada Council. At the heart of everything Richard did was the young reader. Joanne St. John, a colleague of Richard's,
shared the following at the time of his passing. Not many men could be called beautiful, and yet this is who Richard was. His whole being seemed to be in service to others, especially children and youth. Literacy was not a word in Richard's life. It was an action and a way of interacting with others to enrich their lives. His unpresuming nature, his wealth of knowledge about books and authors, and his often dry and incredible wit, his kindness and his willingness to do what needed to be done, mostly behind the scenes, and his wisdom were so appreciated. You are missed, Richard.
Richard served for many years as the Alberta Regional Coordinator for Canadian Children's Book Week. Throughout his career and into retirement, he hosted at least 100 authors, arranging their Alberta tours and often driving them to rural and city schools and showing them the scenic beauty of Alberta along the way. He was also passionate about nature, the land, and the environment. And over his lifetime, he nurtured and enjoyed their beauty, from the Rockies to the prairies and the oceans. Richard passed away on November 26, 2019, and will be remembered for his compassion, patience, and love for all who crossed his path. And the nominees for the Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award, supported by Rocky Mountain Book Award and Alice Chase, are Alone, The Journeys of Three Young Refugees, written by Paul Thom, illustrated by Mélanie Baillarger, translated by Ariel Aronson, published by Groundwood Books. The Halifax Explosion, 6 December 1917 at 9:05 in the morning, written by Afua Cooper, illustrated by Rebecca Bender, published by Plum Leaf Press. The Secret Pocket, written by Peggy Janicki, illustrated by Carrie Lynn Victor, published by Orca Book Publishers. Shizue's Path, written by Mark Sakamoto, illustrated by Rachel Wada, published by HarperCollins Publishers. A Star Explodes, the story of Supernova 1054, written by James Gladstone, illustrated by Yara Eshett, published by Owl Kids Books.
And the winner of the Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award is Alone, The Journeys of Three Young Refugees. Written by Paul Thom, illustrated by Mélanie Baillarger, and translated by Ariel Aronson. I have something here. Oops. Congratulations. Oops, sorry.
Hello, hello. I was told to do the speech in French so my mom can understand me and my daughter too. Salut maman. Salut Danae. Donc, c'est avec une immense fierté que j'accepte ce prix Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award. Merci à Alice Chase, merci au Rocky Mountain Book Award de vouloir célébrer la contribution de Richard Allen Chase à travers ce prix. Merci au jury. Je ne sais pas où vous êtes, mais on va se parler tantôt. Je suis tellement fier de ce travail d'équipe qui a permis aux histoires de Alleyne, Afshin et Patricia de prendre vie autant à l'écran d'abord que dans un livre. Fier du talent de Mélanie Baillarger. Mélanie is not here. She has to study for her psychology exam tomorrow. Donc, à travers les illustrations de Mélanie qui permettent à leurs histoires de voyager dans les yeux et les cœurs de millions, I wish millions, but it was milliers de jeunes au Canada, en français d'abord, et maintenant en anglais grâce à Ariel ici. C'est formidable tout le parcours de ce livre, c'est quand même fou, c'est un livre, c'est mon premier livre et j'en suis fier. Ce livre qui rappelle que les personnes qui fuient leur pays, ils veulent la même chose que nous. Trouver un lieu pour vivre en paix, avoir un toit sur la tête, un toit sur le cœur. Ils veulent juste pouvoir rêver, comme chacun d'entre nous. Merci beaucoup.
No, got it. This is my first time up here, so thank you to the CCBC, as well as to Alice Chase and the Rocky Mountain Book Award for selecting Allone as the winner of the 2024 Richard Allen Chase Memorial Award. I would also like to thank the team that made this magnificent book possible, the incredible team at Groundwood, Paul for his words, Melanie for her illustrations, and Afshin, Alain, and Patricia for their stories. Allone holds a very special place in my heart. I, too, immigrated to Canada alone. My first few months in this country were challenging, exhausting, and very, very lonely. It is so hard to be far from home. Unaccompanied minors face challenges beyond imagination, yet their dreams are universal, to be cared for, safe, and loved. It is my hope that as Canadians, we will learn to open our eyes, our homes, and our hearts to these children. Thank you.
Congratulations, Paul, Melanie, and Ariel. That is so incredible. Now, our next award honors David Booth, who was a professor, a huge supporter of Canadian children's books, and an advocate for using poetry in the classroom. 4 years after David passed away in 2018, his colleague and friend, Shelley Stagg Peterson, established this award in his honor. We invite Shelley to introduce the award and announce its winner.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here to celebrate poetry in the name of my dear friend, David Booth. The idea for this award came from a conversation with David after a CCBC gala a number of years ago. As we talked about the need for an award for poetry for children and youth, I pointed out all the ways that David had celebrated poetry in his teaching and in his academic work. And then in his retirement, David had written poetry for children and youth himself. I suggested that we should initiate this award and that it should be named after him. Now, with David's characteristic good sense of humor, he replied, "But I want to win that award, and I can't very well do that if it's named after me, can I?" David's love of poetry will endure long into the future through the David Booth Children's and Youth Poetry Award. And if it happens that more poetry for children is written, published, and brought into the lives of children through this award, then all the better. And with thanks to the CCBC staff who made the award possible and to members of the jury, I invite you now to join me in taking a look at the exciting poetry books on the shortlist.
The nominees for the David Booth Children's and Youth Poetry Award, supported by Shelley Stagg Peterson, are Forever Our Home, written by Tanya Simpson, illustrated by Carla Joseph, published by Orca Book Publishers. I Want to Build a Sea House, written by Whitney Morin, illustrated by José Bissayon, published by Nimbus Publishing. Like a Hurricane, written by Jonathan Bécotte, translated by Jonathan Kaplansky, published by Orca Book Publishers. The Prisoner and the Writer, written by Heather Camlott, illustrated by Sophie Casson, published by Groundwood Books. Robot Unicorn Queen, Poems for You and Me, written by Shannon Bramer, illustrated by Irene Luxbacher, published by Groundwood Books. The Yellow Leaves Are Coming, written by James Gladstone, illustrated by François Teasdale, published by Red Deer Press.
And I'm happy and honored to announce that the winner of the David Booth Children's and Youth Poetry Award is Robot, and I'm sorry I don't have the title here with me, but Shannon Bramer and Irene Luxbacher are the creators. Congratulations to you.
Hi, everybody. I take my glasses off so I can read. Thank you, Shelley Stagg-Peterson, for founding and funding the David Booth Children's and Youth Poetry Award. Poetry is magic, and no one knew that better than David Booth, who believed that poems should be in every child's life, who recognized poetry's ability to act as a springboard for deep thinking, play, and joy. Thank you to the brilliant and generous team at Groundwood Books, especially my dear editor, Nan Froman, who brought Irene Luxbacher and I together for this book. Irene, thank you for your detailed, heartfelt, and sometimes deliciously surreal illustrations that cast warmth and tenderness on every poem in this book, in our book. I might never have the chance again, so I will be bold now and thank Dennis Lee, poet and co-founder of House of Anansi Press. His work has inspired me deeply over the years. Its expansiveness, humor, rigor, and gentleness all at once. His poems gave me permission to write mine. Thank you to my loving family for the poems you give me, my favorite poems. Thank you, Caroline Hoyt, the jurors, and the Canadian Children's Book Centre for helping us all thrive and grow as Canadian creators of literature for young readers. I feel so grateful and so humbled to be among you all. Thank you.
Wow. My goodness, there's just so much to be grateful for tonight, so I've made a little list. And I'm going to just rhyme it off because I'm very nervous. I'm grateful for my new dear friend, Shannon Bramer. Shannon's brilliant and heartfelt poems found their way to me as I was grieving the loss of my parents, and her healing words worked their magic on my broken heart. I'm grateful for the trust that my agent, Emily Van Beek, and the wonderfully gifted team at Groundwood Books continuously places in me, especially for this project. I'm also very grateful to Shelley Stagg-Peterson for her generous support, and to the CCBC and the jury for placing me in the company of such marvelous fellow creatives. And I'm also so grateful to David Booth. My autistic son, Luca, and I have both benefited from his legacy through a friend and teacher that credits David Booth as being the greatest influence and inspiration in her teaching career. And without their creative, compassionate, and support of my son through the most difficult year of his life, I would have never have had the time or emotional space to collaborate on this beautiful project. So how fitting and grateful I am to share that with you and to thank him in front of everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations, Shannon and Irene. What a beautiful and colorful book. The CCBC has just wrapped up an exciting project called Growing Literacy, We hosted a webinar, developed how-to videos on sharing different genres of read-alouds, and created downloadable resources supporting reading readiness. The CCBC believes that young readers should be given the opportunity to read books created by Canadian authors and illustrators, and by connecting such books with building literacy skills, we are able to help teachers to find the best authentic literature to complement their teaching. Check out the CCBC's website and YouTube channel to see what this project delivered. The Growing Literacy Project was made possible through funding support from the Canada Post Community Foundation. What a great project. Our next award honors Alleyne Barlin, who was a lover of the fantasy and science fiction genre of books and film. Her sister, Ellie Barlin Daniels, established this award in memory of Alleyne, who passed away in 2018. We now invite Ellie to introduce this award and announce its winner.
It's dark here. Okay. We have no light. It's really hard to see. As an amateur genealogist, I frequent sites such as Ancestry.com, Genie.com, and MyHeritage. All of these platforms urge users to browse suggested hints. Last week, I took the bait and clicked to find new information about my sister Alleyne. I'm not sure who contributed the update, but what I read was something I already knew, and it is wonderful. Someone had listed her occupation as Superwoman. Since the inception of this award, I've extolled Alleyne's virtues, and you've come to learn that my sister, who passed from breast cancer in 2018 at age 58, was incredibly vital, curious, and a true trailblazer. Her love of travel and books, film, history, world religions, yoga, cooking, music, and all things spiritual was inspiring. Heather Smith, one of this year's nominees for this award, posted the following message on Facebook when the finalists were announced. She wrote, "I just love this little tidbit about Alleyne from the CCBC website. One of her birthday parties invited guests to come as you aren't, or as their alter egos." She actually came as Captain Jack Sparrow because she was fighting her cancer and she was going to survive. Most adults accept that they won't have the opportunity to use their imagination as often as they did when they were children. But Alleyne found a way to live a life of creativity and adventure and share it with those that she loved. Heather felt honored that her book had been nominated for an award whose namesake so fiercely celebrated imagination and adventure. And Alleyne did. She never missed a chance to engage with people and to seize the day. In endowing this award, I hope to recall and appreciate Alleyne's enthusiasm for the science fiction and fantasy genre, as well as her zest for life. She would have wanted to be here to celebrate each of our nominees. So in her absence, I salute the following finalists for the Alleyne Barlin Award for Science Fiction and Fantasy.
And the nominees for the Alleyne Barlin Award for Science Fiction and Fantasy, supported by Ellie Barlin Daniels, are Bonesmith, written by Nikki Pau Preto, published by Margaret K. McElderry Books. The Boy, the Cloud, and the Very Tall Tale, written by Heather Smith, published by Orca Book Publishers. City of Nightmares, written by Rebecca Schaefer, published by Clarion Books. Nightbreaker, written by Coco Ma, published by Viking Books for Young Readers. The Stars of Mount Quix, written by S.M. Biko, published by ECW Press.
And the winner of the Alleyne Barlin Award for Science Fiction and Fantasy is Nikki Pau Preto. For Bonesmith.
Oh boy, okay, here I go. Thank you so, so much. This is my first award, so forgive me if I'm nervous. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I am a writer, not a talker. Thank you so much to Ellie, Barlin Daniels for founding this award in honor of her sister, Arlene, who was definitely my kinds of people. And thank you to the jury for selecting Bonesmith. I know it's cliche, but it truly is an honor to be nominated amongst such amazing books and such talented authors, and especially for science fiction and fantasy, which just means so much to me as a reader and as a writer. I've always been a fan of those kinds of stories, and I know I'll always write them too, so thank you so much.
Congratulations, Nikki. That is such a great category. Now, I have another initiative that CCBC has been working on. They've been working on an important initiative to help ensure that all kids, including those with print disabilities, get to read great Canadian books. Check out our one-of-a-kind accessible books bank to find books in Braille. Ebooks, audiobooks, and more at www.bookcenter.ca/accessible-books. And head to CCBC's YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/bibliovideo for our accessible books playlist of videos. Hundreds of titles with more added all the time. Publishers, let us know about your books in these formats so we can include them. Help spread the word, everyone, about these great resources. Now, the next award was first presented in 2021. It was established by 3 authors, Sarah Ellis, Kip Pearson, and Maggie Dovries, who is Jean Little's niece. Sandra O'Brien is a member of this year's Little Award jury, whom we will now invite to introduce the award and announce its winner.
Good evening. It was an honor and a pleasure to be asked to sit on the jury for the Jean Little First Novel Award with Sarah Ellis and Amy Mathers. We received a wonderful assortment of first novels to read this year. In an excerpt from the Toronto Star article written by Jean, I learned that Jean wrote her first poem at the age of 11, and in an attempt to get her father's attention, she presented it to him while he was reading his newspaper. Jean's father quickly dropped the newspaper to give her feedback on her poem and continued to encourage her to write and publish until he passed away when Jean was just 21. Jean credited that as a life-changing moment for her and would go on to encourage others to write and publish throughout her career, in which she wrote over 50 children's books and 2 autobiographies. I imagine Jean would be very pleased to know that this award, created in her honor, will probably have that same effect for tonight's nominees and winner. The following novels are the finalists for this year's award.
And the nominees for the Jean Little First Novel Award, supported by the Canadian Children's Book Centre, are B. Bakshi and the Gingerbread Sisters, written by Emmy Pinto, published by HarperCollins Publishers. The Boy Who Woke the Sun, written by A.T. Woodley, illustrated by Mike Diaz, published by Red Deer Press. The Cricket War, written by Ta Pham and Sandra McTavish, published by Kids Can Press. The Secret of the Ravens, written and illustrated by Joanna Cacao, published by Clarion Books. Where the Water Takes Us, written and illustrated by Alan Barilaro, published by Candlewick Press.
And the winner of the Jean Little First Novel Award is The Cricket War by Ta Pham and Sandra McTavish.
Unfortunately, Ta isn't able to join us tonight, so I'm representing both of us with this award. I first met Todd when we were 14, and he had recently arrived to Canada. It wasn't until we were adults that he shared his incredible story of his journey as a Vietnamese boat person. I asked if he'd work with me and make his story into a novel, and I'm extremely appreciative that he said yes. All the years of writing and rewriting and collecting enough rejection letters to wallpaper a house make tonight extra special. Ta and I wish to thank the Canadian Children's Book Centre and the jury for selecting The Cricket War as this year's recipient of the Jean Little First Novel Award, and to Maggie DeVries, Sarah Ellis, and Kit Pearson for creating this award in recognition of one of Canada's great children's authors. In my day job, I was thrilled years ago when Jean Little granted me permission to publish one of her short stories for a high school anthology. And at night, I've been a closeted writer since grade 6, dreaming of one day becoming a real published novelist, just like Jean Little, an author I read all growing up. So tonight's award is really a full circle moment. Ta and I were thrilled when Kids Can Press's editorial director, Yasmin Yukar, gave the Cricket War the green light. We'd like to thank Yasmin and the entire team at Kids Can Press, including Michaela Cornell and Bianca Rodriguez in marketing for submitting this award, for submitting our novel for this award. We'd also like to give a special shout out to Patricia Ocampo, who is our editor. I don't believe I'd be standing here right now without her gentle guidance and detailed notes. I'd also like to thank Laura Kaplan, and finally Todd's dad and my parents for their endless support, and my husband Doug, who always believes in me and cheers me on, even when I don't believe in myself. And now Todd has asked me to say a few words on his behalf. I am most grateful for my dad, Brian Buchan, who has sacrificed and put his personal life on hold to adopt 7 of us as his children and take on 11 boat people in total under his wing on an elementary school teacher's salary in a small bungalow, which at the time felt huge to me. I was the last one to be added in 1982. He has been extremely important in my life and continues to be part of all our lives for the past 40 years. His unconditional love for us has shaped me into who I am today, and he still is making a large positive impact on my family, my wife, and children. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Canada and every Canadian from the bottom of my heart for taking in Vietnamese refugees, for giving us a second chance at freedom. I consider Canada as the best country in the world and hope that it continues to be a leader in human rights. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Violet Shrink, written by Christine Baldacchino and illustrated by Carmen Mock, is the selected title for this year's TD Grade 1 book giveaway. This book tells a powerful story of a young girl navigating the complexities of social anxiety and defining her voice to advocate for her needs. Violette Sans Souci, the book's French translation, is also being distributed. Through this program, launched in 2000 and funded by TD Bank Group, the CCBC distributes books to over 550,000 grade 1 students annually. Now, inspired by Terry Fox and Rick Hansen's Canadian Journeys, Amy Mathers launched a marathon of books. In 2014, she read 1 Canadian teen novel a day throughout the year to raise funds for this award. Amy reads books from every province and territory, exploring Canada and promoting Canadian authors and books along the way. Thank you, Amy, for your inspiration and innovation, which made this award possible. We would now like to share a short video in honor of the 10th anniversary of the Mathers Award. We now invite Amy Mathers to introduce the award named in her honor and to announce its winner.
Oh, I have to say, looking at that video, it feels like all those books are my babies. Hello, Canadian teen fiction lovers. It's incredible to me that we have reached the 10th anniversary of the Amy Mathers Teen Book Award. 50 nominated titles, and after tonight, 10 celebrated novels with a cumulative $50,000 awarded. Tonight's nominated titles feature a cross-section of the diverse voices Canadian teen fiction has become. Thank you so much to the Canadian Children's Book Centre for believing in this award from the start, to all the donors that have donated throughout the years to keep it going, to this year's jury for their time and dedication in creating a short list, which is no easy task. And to all the nominees for their powerful, wide-ranging stories. And of course, to the winner, congratulations. I love your books, and I hope that the prize money will help you write more. And now we have the nominated titles.
And the nominees for the Amy Mathers Teen Book Award, supported by the Canadian Children's Book Centre, are Brighter Than the Sun, written by Daniel Ellman, published by Little Brown Books for Young Readers. Delicious Monsters, written by Lizelle Sambury, published by Margaret K. McElderry Books. Only This Beautiful Moment, written by Abdi Nazemian, published by Balzer and Bray. Something More, written by Jackie Kalelier, published by Tundra Books. The Space Between Here and Now, written by Sarah Suk, published by Quill Tree Books.
And the winner is Only This Moment by Abdi Nazemian. Unfortunately, Abdi could not be with us tonight, but he instead sent a video to accept this award.
This is Abdi Nazemian, the author of Only This Beautiful Moment. I am so deeply honored to receive the Amy Mathers Teen Book Award. Thank you to the Canadian Children's Book Centre for recognizing this story and honoring it as a Canadian story. This novel is very much about an immigrant family who are leaving little pieces of themselves in different parts of the world. My own immigrant family moved to Canada when I was 7, and the years I lived in Canada with my aunts and uncles and cousins, all of whom were granted Canadian citizenship, were some of the best years of my life, the years where I felt the most connected to my roots. And to be honored as a Canadian writer just connects me back to that little kid who knew that storytelling could change the world. And I'm so grateful to you for reminding me of that. Thank you.
Congratulations to Abdi Nazemian. Canadians Children's Book Week will take place from April 27th to May 3rd, 2025. Authors, illustrators, and storytellers present talks and workshops, virtually and in person, to youth in schools and libraries during this nationwide event, which celebrates books, reading, and the magic of creating stories. We will be announcing the tour roster in November, so make sure that you're staying tuned for that. We'll now introduce the CCBC's most long-standing award, the Geoffrey Bilson Award for Historical Fiction for Young People. This award, founded in 1988, honors the memory of Geoffrey Bilson, an author and academic who taught at the University of Saskatchewan for over 20 years and who published historical fiction for young people. Gail DeVos, chair of the Bilson Award jury, has recorded a message from her home in Edmonton for us.
Hello. My name is Gail DeVos, and I am the chair of the Bilson Award for 2024. Myself and our jury members had a grand time reading the books for this year, and the selection was again a delight. We have strong writers in this country for children of all types, and the books for historical fiction, well, those are very, very close to my heart. Historical fiction is absolutely necessary. We need to know what has happened in the past so that we understand what is happening in the present and that we can plan for what should happen in the future. The books that we have selected as our honor list and as our winner will give our readers, our children, a chance to do all of that, understand the past, understand the present, and plan for the future. We got a great group of books.
And the nominees for the Geoffrey Bilson Award for Historical Fiction for Young People, supported by the Canadian Children's Book Centre's Bilson Endowment Fund, are Bernice and the Georgian Bay Gold, written by Jessica Outram, published by Second Story Press. The Cricket War, written by Ta Pham and Sandra McTavish, published by Kids Can Press. Focus, Click, Wind, written by Amanda West Lewis, published by Groundwood Books. Molgoth, written and illustrated by Kate Leth, published by Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers. Out of the Dark, written by Julie Lawson, published by Nimbus Publishing.
And the winner of the Geoffrey Bilson Award for Historical Fiction for Young People is Bernice and the Georgian Bay Gold by Jessica Outram.
Oh my gosh, my great Aunt Bernice right now is just so happy. She's no longer with us, but I can feel her. Good evening. It's such an honor to be here and for Bernice and the Georgian Bay Gold to receive the Geoffrey Bilson Award for Historical Fiction for Young People. First, I'd like to thank my ancestors, my great Aunt Bernice, for inspiring this story, my Métis roots, my family, for patiently answering my questions as I wrote the book. I'd like to thank Jillian Rogerson, who was an editor at Second Story Press when I started the book, for her advice and encouragement. Thank you to Chandra Woolaber. Thank you to Jordan Ryder, who took on the final phases of bringing the book to life, and the whole Second Story Press team was incredible to work with. Thank you to Margie Wolf for publishing women-focused social justice and human rights books for children and adults. And a big thanks to the Métis Nation of Ontario's Language Initiative for generously adding Miche Français into the book. I am grateful this story found a home at Second Story Press, so thank you so much to the Canadian Children's Book Centre and the jury. I'm feeling very blessed. Finally, I'd like to thank the river for her quiet moments of inspiration and for my cousin for being here with me tonight. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jessica. In 1999, the CCBC and the Fleck Family Foundation established the Norma Fleck Award for Canadian children's nonfiction to recognize and raise the profile of exceptional nonfiction books. The award, which consisted of a cash prize of $10,000, was presented annually. 2023 marked the 25th and final year the prize was awarded. We would now like to share a short video in honor of the 25th anniversary of the Fleck Award. We now welcome CCBC. Oh yeah, let's give a round of applause. Now we welcome CCBC Executive Director Stephanie Wells to the stage to share a few words about the Fleck Award.
That's a pretty impressive lineup we just saw there. So I'd like to acknowledge some of the numbers over the years. We've have 25 years of the prize being awarded, 124 books, 117 authors, 56 illustrators, 29 publishers with shortlisted books, not to mention $250,000 in total that went to honoring the best in nonfiction. That's quite an impact. Again, I just wanted to share a huge thank you from the bottom of the CCBC's heart to Jim Fleck and the Fleck Family Foundation, whose generosity made that impact possible. We know, yeah. We know that over 80% of adult reading is nonfiction. So having a thriving Canadian nonfiction book industry is super important. Kids need to acquire that skills to read nonfiction and have the right books to feed their curiosity, to allow them to explore the weird and wondrous world in their communities, across the globe, and beyond. With that said, I'm happy to share that this is not the end of nonfiction awards for the Canadian Children's Book Centre. We are thrilled to announce the establishment of the Sharon Fitzhenry Award for Children's Nonfiction. We had a surprise. So I would love to invite Holly Dahl, President and CEO of Fitzhenry and Whiteside, and sister of the late Sharon Fitzhenry, to join me on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Sharon loved books. She loved to read books. She loved to collect books. She couldn't pass by a book sale without purchasing at least one, which helps explain her massive personal library. She loved to talk about books and could do so for hours. But most of all, Sharon loved to publish books. Sharon knew at a young age that she wanted to be a publisher, and she never wavered from that purpose. When our father established Fitzhenry and Whiteside, it fit right into her plans. Who knew? Might have even been her idea to start with. Sharon was a visionary. She saw a need for more Canadian authored and illustrated children's books and set about developing a strong children's division at Fitz and Wits. She had a talent for pairing authors with illustrators, and together they created books on subjects she thought children should know more about. We are establishing the Sharon Fitzhenry Award for Children's Nonfiction to recognize her contribution to Canadian publishing. So, authors and illustrators, the challenge is on. Be creative, be informative, open up the world of nonfiction to children everywhere.
Thank you so much, Stephanie and Holly. That is such an exciting announcement. Now for our next award, the A. Charles Baillie established our next award as a gift to his wife, Marilyn, in 2006. From nursery school teacher to editor at Chickadee Magazine, Marilyn has worn many hats over the years that all attest to her love for children and children's literature. We now invite Alexandra Baillie to introduce the award named in honor of her mother.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to introduce the Marilyn Baillie Picture Book Award on behalf of my mother, Marilyn Baillie. As a children's author who spent her career distilling the complexities of science and nature for the wonder of children, it brings her great joy to contribute to her community by honoring the people who create picture books, a form that brings joy to the oldest and youngest of us among us. So congratulations to all of the nominees.
And the nominees for the Marilyn Baillie Picture Book Award, supported by A. Charles Baillie, are Love is in the Bear, written by Judith Henderson, illustrated by Nahid Kazemi, published by Owl Kids Books. Our Pool, written and illustrated by Lucy Ruth Cummins, published by Athenaeum Books for Young Readers. Skating Wild on an Inland Sea, written by Jeannie Pendziwol, illustrated by Todd Stewart, published by Groundwood Books. A Tulip in Winter, a story about folk artist Maud Lewis, written by Kathy Stinson, illustrated by Lauren Soloy, published by Greystone Kids. When You Can Swim, written and illustrated by Jack Wong, published by Orchard Books Scholastic.
And the winner of the Marilyn Baillie Picture Book Award is When You Can Swim by Jack Wong.
Everybody. Thank you to A. Charles and Marilyn Baillie and the Canadian Children's Book Centre for this award. As an author, I gravitate to any and all stories, so having heard Marilyn speak many times before about this award and give just a glimpse of the story behind it, it's all the more meaningful to be receiving it, so it's a true honor. I've been on an incredible journey since the release of When You Can Swim, which is my first book, so this is all very new to me. There are so many people I want to thank you, not only for this book, but for the entire journey that I've been on, short as it may be. So really, I'd just like to thank everyone involved in children's literature in Canada, everyone who makes up this community that I got to jump into feet first and now have a career in. Among them are my fellow nominees, and all the nominees and winners we're celebrating here tonight. I'm thrilled and honored to be in your company. Among them too is everyone at CanScape. I had the extreme privilege of participating at the conference this weekend, and that's just one example of this incredible community at work. I would like to thank a special team who is here tonight, the folks at Scholastic Canada, Nicole Kritikos, Guy Filipponi, Morale McLaughlin, and Diane Kerner, and the whole team who have made this book such a success. And lastly, I want to thank my wife, Ainsley, who's here with me tonight. I'm not very good at looking at my own work. I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir here. I'm often just looking at the little things I still wish I'd done differently or changed. But when Ainsley looks at this book, she sees a story of us going swimming and exploring the world together and holding each other up. And it's a privilege to be able to see the world every once in a while through your eyes. Thank you.
Congratulations. Oh, I gotta bring this back down. Okay, here we go. Congratulations again, Jack. In November 2021, the CCBC launched its virtual picture book gallery with artwork created by 13 artists. 20 artists are now featured in this gallery. This initiative enables schools, libraries, and individuals to buy art created by award-winning illustrators while supporting homegrown talent. The featured illustrators donate 60% of the value of their art sold back to the CCBC. Find out more at the picturebookgallery.com. Communication Jeunesse, the CCBC's Francophone partner organization, announced the Prix TD's shortlist on October 16th. The organization will announce the awards winner at a small in-person ceremony held in Montreal on November 13th. Now, in 2004, the CCBC and TD Bank Group created the TD Canadian Children's Literature Award to recognize the most distinguished book of the year. This is the country's largest prize for Canadian children's books, and all genres written for young people are considered for this honor. Robin Small is Senior Manager, Philanthropy, Sustainability, and Corporate Citizenship, TD Bank Group. She is here with us this evening to introduce the award and announce its winner.
Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be here with you this evening representing the bank and our work with the Canadian Children's Book Centre. On behalf of TD, I want to thank the Canadian Children's Book Centre for hosting the CCBC Book Awards again this year. At TD, we aspire to work with community and nonprofit organizations that provide access and tools to support early learning. Through the TD Ready commitment that we launched in 2018, we're targeting a total of $1 billion by 2030 in community giving towards supporting change and investing in local communities. As a part of our commitment to early learning, together with CCBC and the TD Grade 1 Book Giveaway Program, we've distributed over 12.5 million books to Grade 1 students across the country over 25 years. So tonight, to the authors, illustrators, publishers, and beyond, we're gathered here to celebrate you. And thank you for helping to make children's literature possible. In a moment, we will announce the winner of the TD Canadian Children's Literature Award. As Ainara said, this is the largest prize for Canadian children's literature and celebrates some truly remarkable stories. So to all of tonight's nominees, each book is amazing in its own way, and we thank you for sharing your stories with us and your messages of inclusion and hope.
And the nominees for the TD Canadian Children's Literature Award, supported by TD Bank Group, are Do You Remember? Written and illustrated by Sydney Smith, published by Groundwood Books. Green Papayas, written by Nung N. Tran Davies, illustrated by Jillian Newland, published by Red Deer Press. Simon Sort of Says, written by Erin Bowe, published by Scholastic Canada. Skating Wild on an Inland Sea, Written by Jeannie Pendziwol. Illustrated by Todd Stewart. Published by Groundwood Books. The Umbrella House. Written by Colleen Nelson. Published by Pajama Press.
It is my pleasure to share that the winner of the TD Canadian Children's Literature Award is Skating Wild on an Inland Sea, written by Jeannie Pendziwol, illustrated by Todd Stewart.
Wow. Thank you so much to the Canadian Children's Book Centre, the jurors, and especially the TD Bank Group for honoring Skating Wild on an Inland Sea with this award. There's magic that happens when a picture book is co-created, something that arrives alongside the words and images that isn't there in either, yet could not exist without both. I feel that's especially true with this book. I'm so grateful to Todd, who came and sat beside Lake Superior in winter, wandered the snowy trails along the shore, climbed the ancient cliffs, and listened to the raven's call. Somewhere between my scribbled words and Todd's screen-printed art, the inland sea enchanted our work, and it became much more than either of us could have created on our own. To my husband, Richard, my kids, Aaron, Colin, and Ryan, my dad and Marianne, who live quite close to the place that inspired the story, and my sister, Barbara, I love you and I'm grateful for your support. To my community of writers who see me through the ups and downs of this business of making art, especially the Laughing Foxes, I'm grateful. To the creators of the other finalist books, it is humbling and an honor to share space on the shelf with you. To Nan Froman, Karen Lee, Kirsten Broussard, Michael Solomon, and all the rest of the dynamic crew at Groundwood Books, thank you so much for giving this story a home and supporting its journey into the world.
To the TD Bank Group and the Canadian Children's Book Centre, thank you. Thank you to the jury who put our book on the same shelf as the other wonderful nominees this year and in previous years. This is truly an honor, and I feel, I guess, all the feelings to be able to say that I work in the world of Canadian children's literature. I'm constantly inspired by the work I see that gets done by all of you in this room and by the people I get to work with. So thank you to everybody at Groundwood Books. Thank you to Karen and Nan and Kirsten and Michael and the entire team. Thank you to Jeannie Pendziwol, who wrote this story that is so much more than just two kids that go skating on Lake Superior. Her words really evoke that sense of place and setting that I always look for in a story. To your father, Craig, and stepmother, Marianne, for hosting me as I researched the illustrations on the shores of Lake Superior. To the community of Thunder Bay, specifically the Northwestern Ontario Writers Workshop and the Art Gallery of Thunder Bay, who hosted events around the book's launch last fall. To everybody who came out to those events, for making me feel welcome in their community. And finally to my family at home in Montreal, Emily and Henry, and my surrounding community of friends and family who have taken care of me for the last many, many years. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup à vous tous et toutes. Merci. Thank you again. Thank you.
Huge congratulations, Jeannie and Todd. We've seen so many fantastic nominees and finalists and winners tonight. This year, there were 27 jurors who read a combined total of 574 books for the awards presented tonight. Isn't that incredible? I know, that's crazy. I just know that choosing these award finalists and winners was not an easy job. So we've got to give a huge thank you to those passionate readers for supporting Canadian youth literature with sensitivity, care, kindness, and respect. So a big round of applause for them. Thank you again to the supporters of our awards, Alice Chase, Rocky Mountain Book Award, Shelley Stagg Peterson, Ellie Barlin Daniels, A. Charles Baillie, and TD Bank Group, and to our event sponsors, Power Corporation of Canada, Jackman Foundation, Tin Lids, Brainspace Magazine, and Hugo Juice. We will now invite Carol Ann Hoyt, CCBC Events and Program Manager, to the stage.
Having a good time tonight. I really appreciate you all coming out, and for the long anticipated moment, I will have the honor of drawing the winning ticket for the Deluxe Supreme Full Collection of tonight's shortlisted titles. So would you want to,
oh my gosh,
shake it up, and you'll pick it, and then
yeah.
I'll
Are you gonna read it out?
Yeah, and then I'll read it out.
There you go.
Okay, so the winner is 5, 3, 2, 1, 4, 1, 1, 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, 4, 1, 1, 7. So many. Okay. Great. Excellent. So, would you like to say your name? Louisa. Yeah, so Louisa is our winner for tonight, so come and see us later. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Congratulations, congratulations. Now, before we all go enjoy some very well-deserved dessert, thank you all for being here this evening, whether virtually or right here in the room. I just want to say thank you on behalf of Canadian kids to all of you who are bringing creativity, joy, and wonder to all young readers. Thank you for teaching us life skills and lessons while also immersing us into new worlds or helping us better understand our own. Your stories help shape the perspective of the leaders of tomorrow, and that is no small task. So thank you for taking on such a role with care and compassion. So another heartfelt thank you to the writers, the illustrators, the publishers, and those who support all of the above. Congratulations, you are all winners, and I'll see you again soon.